information threads in the DGL Discord, discord.thedgl.org. There's all the information is posted there. You'll send your roster to your respective regional admin, so you can send it to me or Kalu. Um, so Boklu, as someone who knows next to nothing about the game, what is the counter to that A push? What should Jim's team have done? There's a couple things that you could have done for that A push. I believe just there were no pre-nades coming out, but by dark window onto balcony. There weren't a lot of pre-fires coming out from security arch. I mean there was, but it wasn't really correct or as fast as possible. And they're just playing back a little bit more. Um, there's a certain finesse to playing cafe. Um, Cafe is not an all or none. So if you play Cafe too passive on security, you can miss players pushing through. But if you play too aggressive, you can get killed really easily. So it's kind of this ebb and flow thing that takes a lot of game experience. I like being closer to Cafe so I can use my sound to hear how many players are up there. And there's a couple different options. So that's some of the things, and there's no right way. I mean, there are definitely multiple ways. Sometimes you just don't get lucky. Some of the times you have a 50-50 shot and you miss. So
Right. Yeah,
so
I think the pre-nade that you were talking about on Balk would have definitely helped because they had a Balk player that killed Vec, I believe, a few times. It's one of the captains, I can't remember. But yeah.
player of the tournament function.
How do we measure
Hmm.
that? Do we measure just by the most destructive player, or do we measure it by, hey, this person's brand new and played very well considering?
Yeah, I mean like I don't want to definitely Jolly Bear stood out. Zoo is a more veteran player, but she played really well. Panther um, played really well. I mean, he just got on a team last night. He didn't pug or anything, and he played really well. That was on Jim's team. But Ops and Fisher definitely veterans, playing well for Space Monkey's team. CJ actually, I expect him a couple times as well. CJ played pretty well for playing aggressive. Um, it's kind of hard in Insurgency, right? Because like you've got B players, support players, and roamers. And support players don't get a lot of love, but they hold down the flank and really rotate when they need to, right? So, and that's super important in Insurgency. You have to lock down certain lanes so you can play a strategy a certain way. And a support player, he may not get a lot of kills, but he gets that one kill that is super important. That one guy who could have flanked your whole team. So it's kind of rough. Right? There's a lot of different things that come into being a top player. Good aim, game sense, and whatnot. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think there's definitely a lot of different archetypes in this game, which is something I really do like about Insurgency is there definitely is, support players and stuff like that, which don't get as much attention because they're not necessarily getting 3, 4 kill rounds all the time, but they're the anchor of a strat sometimes. So
Yeah, and you could see the veteran players in the tournament kind of take over at certain moments of the game and push their team to the correct spots or cover the correct spots on the map. So it's interesting to see the more skilled players and the roles that they take on a team when they're playing with people that are kind of just starting out.
Yeah, you can.
right.
Yeah, and you could see how people would like kind of go one way and then they jerk this way. Like, no, 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 go back this way. Don't do that. Go to this objective.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, it was a really good game.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by some of the levels of play we saw today. You don't always see that in every Newbloods tournament we've done. So
Yeah, Chad, and I agree with it. Fisher carried a lot of the last game, and yeah, those first 3 rounds and like
on
the
balcony.
final like 4 or 5 on Balk were great.
Yeah,
yeah, okay, it was Captain Fisher, I think, that
yeah.
was up in Balk. Okay, that kind of made that A strat possible.
Hi, Spearmint. Yeah. So I think it was great. I think it was good. I definitely want to see more of those players show up in the gym pickup games, and just start working together and form teams and whatnot. Because you got to get in now. I mean, Sandstorm's coming. Alex was talking earlier about matchmaking. We won't get back into that. So it's definitely something planned for sure, and they're definitely working on it. It's not going to be, nothing is ever perfect the first iteration, but NWI has proven time and time and again that they consistently improve on the design. 4 years of Insurgency, and I got so many updates for free. So I'm super excited to see matchmaking and see it grow and be a bridge that's necessary to this thriving competitive community scene. Go ahead, Torix.
Sorry, just to piggyback off that, you mentioned it briefly. The players that play today, or the players that don't have the game and were watching today, get the game and join us. Get in for Season 10. You players that play today that do not have a team, I hope to see you guys in the season. Definitely helps all of us when the community grows. And
yeah, and I'll say, like, the same skills that are involved to the games that you're watching are the same skills that will help you adapt to Sandstorm. I mean, there are lots of additions inside of Sandstorm, a lot of new features and that sort of thing, and a lot of new game modes, matchmaking, new graphics. But the key and core Insurgency gameplay is still there. It still feels like Insurgency. So if you get good at Insurgency, you're going to be good for Sandstorm.
Yeah, totally agree. I think we're all on the same page there. I think everyone else agrees. So I think with that, I just have a couple last questions for you, Alex.
Sure.
So this is a do or die question, right?
Okay.
It's a tough one. All right. So and chat, you can ask as well. Okay. This is a great question to ask anyone because you can really tell a lot about a person with the way they answer. Okay. So you have two options.
Okay.
Would you rather?
Oh boy.
Would you rather have a popcorn kernel stuck in the back of your throat for the rest of your life, or would you rather have Cheeto fingers for the rest of your life and not be able to wash your hands?
I think your body would adapt to the popcorn kernel.
Really?
I don't think my wife would adapt to the Cheeto finger.
Come on, baby, give me a hug.
What a guy! What a guy! Doesn't think about himself, thinks about his wife. That is adorable. Clip this, show it to his wife. That is adorable.
It's like if I put my hands on her face, like, she'd end up looking like Donald Trump.
What about hold on? What about gloves though?
Yeah, I mean, gloves exist, but
you can't go in public with latex gloves.
Yeah, like
all the time.
Yeah, if I'm running around with a latex glove or running around with like leather gloves, like,
it's a little creepy.
People think you're up to something like 24/7 if you're running around.
Just clean the crime scene.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
You wear mittens.
And it doesn't help that I don't like Cheetos, so that's a.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well.
We're gonna have to end the cast after that.
Everything was going well. Way to go.
Oh, later, guys.
At least I saved it for the end so we could get through this, guys.
Colonel. Oh, look. See? Rather have the popcorn.
Yeah.
See, the thing about me.
Popcorn brothers in the chat.
The thing about me, though, is that, the Cheetos thing. Think about this. Get stranded on an island. Never going to go hungry. I've always got them Cheetos I can just kind of lick and whatnot.
That is quite the image. Of you just sitting in the sand with, like, torn up clothes, just constantly licking your fingers and they magically being repopulated with Cheeto powder. I'll tell you what, I'm going to think about that all night tonight. It's great.
The worst part would be opening up a bag of Cheetos and being like, I don't taste anything, because you've already had everything taste like Cheetos the rest of the time every time you eat something in your hand.
Oh, shit. Oh, you kill me.
Oh.
Okay. All right. I do actually have real questions, but I wanted to get that one off the table.
I had one more. I actually had one.
Go ahead, Torix.
So you mentioned earlier about, and you're right
Yeah.
to say this, Alex, that skills in the first Insurgency will, definitely carry over to Sandstorm. It is a
Yep.
different engine though, so you've played it. Does it feel? How does it feel? Does it feel different, like the feel of the game when you're playing it?
I think the first thing they were trying to nail when we went into closed alpha was the feel. So it to me it feels a lot like it. I mean, there'd be specific guns that don't feel exactly like they do inside of Insurgency and that sort of thing if you're just so used to it and so dialed into them. But generally, the gunplay and like the way that you're taking objectives and kind of the back and forth of the game is so much like Insurgency. So like I hear a lot, especially because we're bringing the game out on console, that we're gonna like consoleify it or something like that, and I don't feel that at all. Like it doesn't. It's so hardcore in the game. It's difficult for me that hasn't played actually a ton of Insurgency. I've played a ton of Day of Infamy. That is played haven't played a ton of Insurgency to get good compared to the rest of the developers and the rest of like the competitive players that are playing in the game. So yeah, to me it's still a hardcore shooter game, which is exactly what I consider Insurgency right now.
Good.
That's good. Yeah. So just to clear up some stuff, um, we've gone back and forth on the modding ability, and I know in the most recent
Yeah.
blog you guys are gonna put that to the wayside, which is important, right? It's like you gotta focus on the main things first. What just to clear up, will there be so right now like will there be any modding ability on launch, or will it be kind of minimal if you can answer
So
that?
on launch, what the plan is to get support for custom maps and for
Right.
Steam,
Okay.
for the Steam Workshop.
That's really important. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the plan right now. Like whether or not that happens is entirely up to development, but that is currently the plan.
And that's for launch.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then after that, we will probably go out and expand the modability of the game because, I mean, you said it a million times before. We've come from like a modding background, and it's really important to us to make sure that we have like even an inroads for good modders and good map makers to make something cool and hopefully get recognition for it. And if you've ever seen any of our games, at least half the maps are community created. At least half. In Day of Infamy, now I think we're up to like 2/3, and most of them were for like one specific mapping contest. So, and some of those guys that made those maps, they're on the team now. So it's really important for us to get modability and custom maps and that sort of.
Cool. Yeah. I think that's the biggest one. I mean, workshop mods. I mean, we don't a lot of us don't use a lot of workshop mods because we use the peer, which I know a lot of people love workshop mods. Like I'm not saying that, and it's really cool and it's interesting to see all the skill that's out there. Like there are
Yeah.
so many things, but I think what's nice is that we'll have the ability to do custom maps. So will that will it be like a set of meshes and props that will be released upon Sandstorm, or is that kind of going to happen later for mapping?
We'll have to see based on time.
Okay.
It's interesting with especially like a console release because we have to get the game done
Yeah.
earlier,
Yeah,
and
because
then
Microsoft.
yeah, we have to get the game done earlier and then kind of release it for them to approve it.
Right.
So there will be some extra time afterwards. So then it's kind of like why a lot of games now you hear like day one patch and people consider it like a negative thing when
Mhm.
really like there's a lot of time between when you've finished the game and when the game actually comes out.
So actually, this is a very important thing that not a lot of people know about because they're not on the developer side. Microsoft and Sony, I believe, have to approve every game that's released, and it actually can take a very long time. From what I understand to QA. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. You're gonna know more, but
Yeah, it's like a very very thorough process, and it's actually a very long process because they want to make sure that everything's up to standard, that there's no bugs. Because if they put their stamp on it and it's being released in stores or with their logo on it, they don't want it to be broken
right.
and have all the backlash and the support and all the stuff they're gonna have to go because the user doesn't know whether to blame them or to blame us. So
So they blame everyone.
yeah. Yeah, so it's important that they have that time, but it also means that we have more development after period where we submit it to them, so that we start working again on it right away.
Right. So just to drive that point home to people that weren't paying attention, Microsoft and Sony, there's an approval process. It takes a long time. That's why when you release a console, sometimes you see day one patches, and a day one patch because they submit the game, and then there could be a number of weeks, months till approval. So developers are still working on the game. So that day one patch, it doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. It's just that's the process of submitting a video game to Microsoft or Sony, and a lot of people don't know that. And I think that's a very good point to bring up. Yeah, yeah, Microsoft and Sony are. It's pretty hard to get through that process. Just got a lot of check boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, just so it works out of the box right away. Um, and I mean, it gives us an opportunity to maybe put in a new feature or a piece of new content in the release too. Like, who knows? As soon as the game comes out, like it's not like our guys just stop working. As
never
you know,
have.
we are always releasing new stuff. So
Yeah. And speaking of which, since chat games are always gonna have bugs. I mean, that's always gonna happen. So right now, you guys are at alpha. Historically, you guys have done early access. Now, nothing is for certain for sure. You guys are very early. But will there be an early access period where we can buy into the game like we're seeing with a lot of games, or you guys don't know yet?
so like I don't know if early access specifically works for us now because we are on with a publisher. We originally published Insurgency with early access and Day of Infamy with early access because we were like a smaller company when that came out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if you know the history of Insurgency, we originally tried to launch it on Kickstarter, which was an actual failed campaign before we kind of rode the first wave of early access. So I mean, it is possible, but I think like right now we've only talked about the pre-order process. That could always change depending on talks with our publisher and what they want to do. But
Gotcha.
yeah, right now I haven't heard anything specifically about early access.
Gotcha. Cool. And then I guess a follow-up question to that would be, if you can't answer, will we see an alpha is very closed right now? Will we see a more open beta process, or will we remain like with the alpha keys and stuff like that?
Yeah, the goal is open beta,
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't know how long before actual launch. I mean, we have like a spec date for it, but
Yeah, of course.
obviously development changes over time. Um, so it's our goal to get there and to have more people touch it and get their hands on it and then give feedback. That's something we always do, whether it be content updates, we release it early. Like I know the Day of Infamy, like our last game, we've literally releasing content updates a month or 2 months before they come out. People get to try new levels and that sort of thing and play them and then give their feedback. So it's important to us to get player feedback, and especially for these new modes we're going into, like competitive, where the kind of the community brought those up. So I think that you will see an open beta. I don't know exactly when or how long, and we'll
That's
try to get it out so everybody will have an opportunity to test.
I think that's more information than most people know, and that's super awesome. I mean, I'm sure people in the chat, love that, and I mean, you heard it here first. I know, but yeah, definitely as you said, and as I remind everyone, development plans change, and NWI has been very open about that. Not that they need to be, but they have been. So I think
We love that.
yeah, I'm super excited. There, your involvement, NWI's involvement now with the community is more than ever. I mean, this is awesome.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate it. And any information you provide that you did provide today is awesome. Alex is super awesome. If you guys see him, give him a big shout out, because seriously, it's a blessing to have him here. So just keep in mind, try to be understanding about everything that may change. But I'm super excited to see what 2018 holds, and moving forward into 2019 when the competitive scene even gets larger and more established with Sandstorm. Did you have anything else you wanted to say, Torix?
Alex, I just want to thank you and NWI personally. It's been really, like Link said, it's more than ever. So to have you guys involved with the competitive scene has been great, and it will continue to be great as Sandstorm comes out and the development goes further. So also, thanks to everybody for watching. The Newbloods providing your viewership, etc. And again, look forward to DJL Season 10 because it is coming. So hopefully you see everybody out there.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Remember to check out the gym for all your pug events, and check out the DGL Discord down below, discord.thedgl.org. Join the season. Season is coming up here fast, starting February 27th. Signups will end February 19th. You can find out all that information and more on the DGL Discord. You'll be registering your teams through Discord through the appropriate admins. Alex, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for hosting and organizing. It's been a really easy process for me as somebody that's come on as I guess, I do like a weekly show, but as like a first time caster. And it's cool to come in, especially with these new events that try to bring a lot of people into the competitive scene, because I think that's really important. I've always said that, like, to me, esports are like an aspirational piece of content where people can watch it and they get inspired to go and play the game, and to play the game at a higher level than they currently are. And it's just awesome that the community is formed inside the gym, inside the DGL, and all the other leagues that they can bring all these community members together and still keep a game going that's 4 years old, and keep pushing so that we can release a game like Sandstorm and there's a lot of hype behind it. So it's like a credit to you guys, and it's credit to the rest of the community for putting the game out there in such a wide manner. And yeah, I can't say thanks enough, because well, we're not spending a ton of money on advertising, so it's all thanks to our community and to you guys for spreading the word on the game.
Yeah, thanks so much,
I
Alex.
appreciate that.
It's been a pleasure. All right, guys, we're going to sign off here. So we'll see you guys later. Till next time, probably Shoutcast. The next Shoutcast you'll really see are going to be during the season. So take care, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you out there.
See you guys later.
Later, guys.